Hi everyone, it's Clyde at Vibrant Soap. Today I'm remaking another batch of Black Raspberry Vanilla. I've done it so many times I don't really want to do it the same way every single time. So this is the one fragrance that I kind of say, okay, you get to play around with the design. It doesn't matter if you do it differently than you did before. Plus it's an easy fragrance to work with. It doesn't discolor, it doesn't accelerate, so I want to have fun with this one. And I look back at a soap I made called Lemon Lime Sublime. You can find it. It's Lemon Lime Sublime III. It's the third version of that. And I really liked how that turned out, and I kind of left that design be. I haven't done anything with that same technique. So I want to use that technique with different colors for Black Raspberry Vanilla. So that's what I'm going to show you today. And there is a color tutorial. So after that, we'll get right to the soap making. Okay, I'm going to start off by just mixing up my pastels. And this is Black Raspberry Vanilla, so I want to put some berry colors in there. And I rarely take Black Raspberry Vanilla literally. In other words, I don't usually use black because I've looked at blackberries, and you know, blackberries are an intense dark purple. So that's what I'm going to do. In a different way, I guess I'm taking that literally. So here is like a lilac, and I'm pretty happy with that. Maybe a little bit more blue so that it looks more purple than pink. That's good. And then I'm going to have some pink as well. That's why I really didn't want the purple to look like pink when I can have pink look like pink. Oops, put the pink in the wrong thing. It's okay, I'll fix that. Okay. Okay, how do I fix that? Just add a little more blue. And that's good. So I think that takes care of my pastels for this one. Let's see, yeah. So let me make my deeper purple. And I will add a little bit of black to that. Someone recently asked me if colored soaps, bleed, and do they give off their color when you use them in the lather, and they do. And some people don't like that, but I like the bright colors, but I do refrain a little bit because I know people don't like too much coloring their lather. So those are some colors right there. Pink, I want probably more of a plum purple. So I'll get that going. I'll add a little bit of white to that. And the easiest way to get a plum is usually to use a little bit of brown, but I'm going to use a little bit of black so that that's like a shade. I'll mess around with it. I'll know when I see it. That's pretty close. I think I want a little more red. That's why sometimes I use brown, is because of the red that's usually in the brown. Makes a nice plum color. I think that's good. And lastly, I'm going to use pretty much a green, although I'm using the Alpine Green from Nurture's soap. And Alpine Green is a little bit more of a shade of green. The soap will lighten that up a bit, so I'll add a little white. That's pretty close to the Alpine Green, except maybe a little bit more of a shade. So I've added black and white to that, which is like a gray, and if I add gray to a color, it's really not, it's more of a tone. We talked about that last time. Okay, let's see how these colors look on paper. Just to kind of show you what I'm doing too, I'm using these greens and purple kind of over here. Skip the blue, so it's a little bit of analogous, and I skipped a color and I went to the purple, which gives more of a dynamic look to it rather than a blending of analogous colors. So let me start by getting my pastel, starting with the softest pastel. well, when it's on the paper, it just completely disappears. So I'm gonna make that a little bit more strong. There's my pink. And then my lilac right next to that. So I think as I get closer to spring, the more I'm going to be using these pastels and hold back from some of the more pure colors. And let's use that deep purple. That's going to be just about my darkest color in the soap. So far that looks pretty good. And also going to have white in this one. Here's my plum. Again, the more coordinated but close the colors are to each other, like this plum and the purple, the more sophisticated the color scheme looks, because it looks like you worked for it a little bit more than right out of the tube. And let's get some of that green in there. And I'm going to just use a little bit of green, so it's going to look something like that. A little ambitious on this because there's so many colors. I'm also going to have the titanium dioxide white. Yeah, that will look nice together. And then I look at that and think, would that suit black raspberry vanilla? And I think it does. So that's the color tutorial. Let's see how that comes out with the micas in the soap. Okay, so I have all my colors poured already. Start off with my lightest color, which is white. I don't know what my lightest color is here. Probably my pink with titanium dioxide to make it a lighter pink. Concentrating on very light colors. So let me just go to the next one. Fragrance is already in there and it smells really, it's one of my favorite scents. That's why it's so popular. Lilac. And here's my darker purple with a little bit of black oxide. And then my green. This is, I believe, alpine green with a little bit of black in it. Okay, so everything's mixed up. Let me get my mold ready. So, actually, not really ready for the mold quite yet, because as I said, I'm going to pour this just like I did my third version of Lemon Lime Sublime. Haven't done that. I really like the way that one turned out, and I haven't ever replicated that. So it's like a it's like an in the pot swirl, but it's also like a faux funnel pour hybrid. So get most of that in there. I'll keep some of that for the top. Not very much. So a full funnel pour has colors basically poured right on top of each other. And I'm going to do that in here, but with some of the colors, I'm going to pour it in different areas of the base. So here's my deep purple. Put that in 3 areas. I'll leave some for the top. And probably the most contrasting thing I can put in there is the pink. So I'm going to go right into that. And save some of that for the top. Then my lilac is going to go in a different area. Maybe in the middle. Save some of that for the top. The deep pink is going to go in 2 of those areas in one of its own areas. Kind of improvising. I know the general thing I'm trying to do here. And the green in maybe that area and a different area. So this isn't going to get a stir at all. It's just going to go right into the mold. Okay, so I think you can see this. I'll pour it from the side and just let the colors swirl on their own. Show you that. That looks beautiful. And scrape the rest in here. For people beginning their soap making journey, Black Raspberry Vanilla is probably one of the easiest fragrances to work with. It doesn't do anything crazy like rice or accelerate or discolor, and it also smells awesome. Okay, let's get some of this color on the top. Actually, what I wanted to do also is to do a little bit of chopstick swirl just on the top. And let's go for this lilac. Let's go for this purple, sort of alternating the darker colors. I'm trying to go linearly through the mold because I want to do a nice swirl on top. Alternating to the next lightest color, which is this pink. It's like a strawberry milk pink. And then this deep pink. I snuck a little purple in there too, so it's really like a raspberry. And let's crown that all with a little white. And why did I put the white on top? It's because I forgot all about it until now. How many of you forget to put things into your soap and have to improvise at the last minute? Let's pound that down. So I'm going to try something a little new because we do have to improvise sometimes. I'm going to do a little bit more of a chopstick swirl on top to dig up some of those colors before I do the actual swirl on top. Okay, now let's try this. I think that worked. And I actually like the way that turned out. So there's the top of my Black Raspberry Vanilla, the latest version of that. I think the next thing I need to do is get some glitter on top of that, and it's done. There we go. Now let's take a look at what that looks like cut. Ooh. I like this swirl. It has so many surprises. I really have to compare this to my third version of Lemon Lime Sublime because that's where I tried this type of swirl for the first time. Remember that I basically did a full funnel pour in parts of a in the pot swirl, and in some areas when it was in the pot I just poured colors in its own little distinct area, but it gives a lot of detail. And I like that feathered look right in there. try to combine all the different colors of berries in this, really except for strawberry, I guess. I like all those variations of purple too. All those colors right in there. Okay, here's my last cut. That's quite different too. Okay, this is Clyde at Vibrant Soap. Thanks for watching all the videos, and make sure you check out that lemon pie video I made, and check me out on Instagram too. And we'll see you real soon. I've got a lot of videos to edit, so I know that they're on their way soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.